Gamers, welcome back to my channel, Rift VA. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 things you absolutely should be focusing on doing when you play Zenless Zone Zero, especially with the game being new and early. We're not hitting that late game yet and talking about like how we actually build the characters, because drive discs and thing, that's kind of a far cry from what this video is going to be about. Tip number 1. Do your dailies, okay? And this actually encompasses a lot of different things, kind of all in one, that are very easy to forget about. But obviously the first one that will come to mind is the errands, the daily errands. So what are those? You can go up here, pressing F2, the compendium is what they call this. This is your errands tab. Now, these refresh on a daily basis, and you want to build up these points by doing these tasks right here. Usually very easy to do. Make sure you're doing these on the daily. They're like commissions in Genshin and whatnot, because that'll get you polychromes. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the scratch cards. You can do these on a daily basis. If you go to this dog right here, named Howl, in the bottom left, you'll always be able to do this scratch once per day. And when I did this one, I forgot what it gave me, but I think it was like 90 polychromes, which was pretty awesome. So make sure you're definitely doing that on a daily basis. Super easy. The battle pass. In this game, they call it the new Erudu City Fund. This is something you can be looking at. Even if you haven't purchased the battle pass, there still are things you can do. You've got the daily tasks, right, with like the logging into the game and using some dennies. But there's also some weekly and even seasonal tasks that you can be doing if you absolutely have nothing else to do. Also, another daily thing is going to be using your battery. That is basically your resin from Genshin, your Trailblaze power from Star Rail. You want to be making sure you use this on a daily basis, even if you don't know what to do with it. At the very least, you could be using your battery just to do the simulations that are going to give you the dennies, your basic materials, right? Your level up materials for your characters, your W engines. So just make sure you're using your battery. It's the time limited resource in the game. So you want to make sure you're not capping on that, because when you're capping on that, you're just essentially having free stuff go down the drain. All right, tip number 2, focus on progression. All right, so literally just doing the main story, doing quests, stuff like that. You also have something in game though called the primer, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's actually right next to the errands tab. And this is a permanent, it's not time-gated thing, but you do get things like polychromes for this, the wishing currency, so that's good. And it's something to do. It's also a lot of internet level for a lot of these tasks, so it's going to help you get your internet level up very quickly. So definitely, if you have nothing else to do, or if you've already done all the main story quests, this is something to do. And to be honest, the primer objectives are things like, you know, getting to the next internet level, doing the quests, doing the story. So they kind of go hand in hand together, but I did want to just point that out. And then if you really have nothing else to do, there is extra stuff like Officer Mew Mew over here. For me, at least, I think he does change locations, but he's actually got quite an arsenal of little objectives to do that do reward polychromes. So only 10 per, but there's like 16. That's a free pull right there. And these are super easy, you know, objectives, and you have to do them at like different times of the day, which if you haven't talked to Mew Mew, he'll tell you all about that. There is also the arcade if you have what us Genshin players would call resinless behavior, or in this case, batteryless behavior. You can come here, and there's a lot of objectives you can do, like all these achievements. There's a lot of polychromes just sitting here. All right, tip number 3. Invest in 1 or 2 teams, and really just how you build your account, how you build your characters. If you focus around 1 or 2 teams, so the team is 3 characters. For me, I've been using Nekomata as one of my main DPSs, and then I've just been using Piper Wheel with her just because of the physical anomaly. I really like that. And then just any kind of buffer or even debuffer. I've been using Ambi just for the days, but you could use, like, Nicole's a great character for the defense shred. So Kaku and Lucy both give attack. So that's going to be good things for your team. The point is building those 1 or 2 teams, really going full dive into those. When you do get to something that is hard, or even getting to late game, you always have something in your back pocket that you can pull out. It's going to clear most, if not all, of the content for you. And then any extra materials you do have, you can throw into things you aren't as crazy about investing in. Like, I'm not worried about investing in Corrin or Billy as much, just because I do have Nekomata. So it makes no sense for me to throw everything into them, because I have a 5-star version of them essentially. Just make sure you at least have those 1 or 2 teams getting all of the investment. So at the beginning of the game, it's okay to be a little bit of horizontal investment, but eventually you are going to want to go vertical investment for at least those 1 or 2 teams. All right, tip number 4, learn the combat mechanics. There are stat descriptions shown in game. So if you're on a character and looking at their base stats on this screen right here, if you click on the physical attack, in Nekomata's case, just right here, or like electric stun, if you click on this, it actually brings up a chart of all the stats of the character. If you don't know what anomaly mastery is, well, you can read what that is. And the same thing for anomaly proficiency, pen ratio, impact, a lot of Zenless Zone Zero specific stats that we don't see in the other games. Hitting enemies increases their days, and impact influences the rate at which days accumulate. So the higher that stat is, the faster you're going to stun your enemies. And so that's why Ambi likes that stat a lot, and she actually ascends into it, because she's all about stunning enemies. That's part of her role. And speaking of roles, part of learning the combat in the game and just how to play the game essentially is learning the characters and the different roles they play. I just mentioned Ambi is a stun character, and so it's good to know that so that you can use her to apply daze to the opponent, because if you don't know the stuff like that, you're going to be using characters wrong when you do eventually get to other characters like Lucy. Okay, Lucy's a support. She increases attack, and you can know all this stuff by going to the skills. And with Lucy, it's actually in her special attack. And you go to the bottom, the cheer on status basically just gives attack when you use her skill. And same thing for Sokaku. Sokaku has her passive where she uses a certain ability and then increases her own attack, and then she can transfer that attack to other characters. So when you know things like that and analyze what characters and which roles they kind of play, like I know Korin and Billy are DPS, Anton's DPS, Sokaku, Lucy are supports. So if you just learn the characters and stuff like that, it's really going to help you learn just how to play the game essentially, and it's going to really help you out. The last thing about learning combat mechanics is if you just go to this menu and go to more down here, there's VR training right here. If you don't know how, let's say you don't know how Grace works, well, you can do a little training there that'll teach you the basics of like how to play her and stuff. For basically all of the characters, you can do that. There is also free training where you can literally just get together a team and kind of just, you know, play test a few things with characters that you have. And the better part is you actually get polychromes for doing this. A lot of them. It's 10 per, so essentially there's a free pull right here. All right, last tip, and this one is a little bit more broad or more personal, but guys, pull the characters you like, okay? At the end of the day, it is a video game, so don't feel obligated to spend or do stuff like that. And one rule I actually, for myself at least, and I'll just share it with you guys, is if you are in doubt, just save, okay? Don't let the indecisiveness push you to an edge of, well, I'll just pull then. Since I don't know. I just don't want to miss the character. Like, getting in that frantic mindset can hurt you. If you get there, don't ever pull a character, in my opinion, with that mindset, because you'll end up making a decision that you actually regret. Okay, I'd rather regret not pulling on a banner than pulling on a banner and regretting that I did. And then I regret having this character and wish I could just put them back. I want my money back, get a refund. So if you're in doubt, just save. There will always be reruns. So if you do end up regretting not pulling, well, they will come again, okay? But that's just a better situation to be in than regretting pulling. So if in doubt, save. If you do decide to spend on the game, the first thing, in my opinion, that you should spend money on is the Internaut membership. This is the Internaut membership. It basically works as the Blessing of the Welcome Moon in Genshin. It's the daily, you get 90 every day for 30 days, and it's only $5. So it's really, really good value, and does keep you coming back to the game. Also, right behind that would be the new Eridu City Fund, or the Battle Pass. There's a lot of value because you open up an entirely new rewards list, and you're getting polychromes, you're getting extra pulls, but the biggest part is honestly the extra leveling materials is going to feel really nice. After that, honestly, I'd recommend to just not spend after that. It's just not worth. Now, some people argue it's worth when they have the double bonus here. If you're of that mindset, sure, I've done it myself in Genshin, so I can't blame you. But after that, it's just not worth. In my opinion, just play the game. Just give it your time. Just use the Internaut membership, use the Battle Pass, and you can get what you want if you play the game right and kind of plan ahead, know what characters you want, and build teams around the characters, or pull characters that will help the characters you do like, stuff like that. If you just play strategically, you never really have to spend. Even if you are completely free to play, you can get through all the content in the game. It's possible through Genshin and Star Rail. Why should it be any different with Zenless Zone Zero? Well, gamers, that's everything for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on some of these tips and just stuff I've talked about and kind of rambled on. I want to know what you guys think. Maybe if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, just let me know. This video is hopefully here to help a lot of the new players, or just some of you who maybe have kind of not focused on Zenless, and now you're just kind of, I'm gonna go try out Zenless Zone Zero, see what the hype's all about. Well, hopefully this video can help you with that. So until the next one, guys, I'll see you later.